Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Pillarfield Pauper League. I am Robert, aka Eldrazi Lackey, and I'm going to be doing some commenting with Jordan, aka Sixsmith, who will be here in just a moment once we finish going through the lists. We have a matchup between Troy, aka Way Too Tall, and Rom, aka Sephiroth RR. Troy is running a pretty standard mono blue list, which we'll get to in just a second, but first we'll take a look at Rom's mono red list. There's just a couple things that make this stand out from the usual Pauper mono red list. I mean, it's got a lot of cards that deal 3 damage, so that's pretty standard. Couple things that are going to be important. The Curse the Pierced Heart is really important in the Pauper metagame, just because if you can land one of those and if the other guy can't deal with it, in certain matchups that can really steal a game, just because it provides inevitability. Also, he's not running Flame Rift, he's running Sonic Burst instead in the main board. I presume that's just a financial thing, he just didn't want to shell out the ticks for it, but there could be some secret reason for that. The deal with the sideboard, there's only 7 cards that are shown here just because he wasn't able to finish building his sideboard in time. So there are more cards in here. I don't know what they are offhand, but we have the list set aside. So yeah, Rom's just going to be looking to fire off as much damage as fast as he can and try and steal a couple games away. It's going to be a little bit more difficult after this week because people are going to be ready for him, but I think that Troy's pretty well situated against him regardless. So we'll head over and take a look at Troy's deck list. So he's running a pretty standard Delver deck list. Idea is just land some dudes, counter a bunch of things until the opponent runs out of gas, and just stop whatever they're trying to do while doing just enough on your side to win the game. So we've got a pretty traditional shell here with a couple exceptions. He's got 4 Delvers, 4 Ponder, 4 Preordain, so typical 1-drops. 2 bone Splitters, so he's going a little bit more aggro. Some people will run 1. I'm running 2 in my list. 4 Cloud of Fairies and 4 Spell Stutter Sprites is standard. 3 Snaps is fine. 4 counter spells of varying arts, as all the cool people do. 2 Deprive. The Frostburn weirds here will get better and worse depending on the matchup. They're not going to be doing a ton in this matchup, and I expect to see those get sideboarded out. But they do a lot of work against decks like Stompy, maybe, and Sparrow's Kitty run creatures on the ground? Not sure, but Boggles, that's what I was thinking of. But those creature-based strategies where a 1/4 can really just get in the way, as well as just having the ability to pump mana into it and generate some offense. Stormbound Geist, likewise, I'm interested to see that in the main board. It's really good in the Delver mirror, just because it can block a flip Delver and then still hang out. It's also good against mono black because it provides resiliency through Undying. It's a really good card in the right matchups. This is not the right matchup for it, though. Likewise, Ninja the D-Powers. Pros in this matchup, he's going to be able to get in. There's not going to be any blockers. Cons, you have to tap out to cast him. Even the paying 2 for Ninjutsu, you essentially have to do that on turn 4 because you need to have that counterspell mana up to stop everything that Rom's trying to do. So I suspect that Ninja's going to be a little bit too little too late, but we'll see how that plays out. Spire Golem, likewise, you're looking to play that when you have 4 islands in play and you can afford to cast it while still having counterspell mana up. So with that out of the way, we'll move over to the sideboard. So Relic of Progenitus, sideboard tech against Familiar. Curfew, not relevant in this matchup. Dispel is probably going to get brought in here, as well as Mana Leak, I would imagine, just because the more counterspells, the better here. Boomerang is not really doing a ton here, just because he has so few permanents. The only notable one being the Curse, but you would rather just have a counterspell most of the time. Curse of Chains does just nothing. That's no good in this matchup. Stitch Drake, Stormbound guys additionally just aren't doing a whole ton here. So he's going to be limited to what's in his main board for the most part, but I think that what he's got in the main board is pretty well situated. The one thing, though, is that he does not have any Hydroblasts.
I think Troy, even without Hydroblast, I think Troy's okay because he has Dispels, which in essence is basically a Hydroblast against Mono Red. The main thing is he just needs to play around, or at least make sure that Curse of the Pierced Heart doesn't resolve.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's going to be a real point in the matchup. We'll see if he even knows that, though, is the other thing. And we'll also see if Rom can play the Mono Red deck correctly, because I don't know that I've seen either one of them run this list.
Mean, he plays Mono Red and Modern, so
that's true. He does.
Burn players, they're all the same, you know.
But yeah.
Although it plays a little bit differently, just because you want to resolve Curse of the Pierced Heart more than any other spell.
But I remember we were talking a while back about Burn in Pauper, and Rom says, "Well, you just don't have the tools that you have in other formats." And I said, "Well, you've got Lightning Bolt, you've got Lava Spike, you've got Chain Lightning, you've got Searing Blaze, you've got Rift Bolt, you've got Fire Blast, you've got Needle Drop." And he's like, "What?" Aside from Needle Drop, he's going, "Wow."
Yeah, I mean,
what more could you ask for?
It has the tools in the same essence that any other deck has the tools. Like, a lot of decks are crippled. Mm-hmm. Like, Mono Blue Standard was supposed to be pretty good. But just in general, a lot of strategies are crippled. So, I mean, if you're crippled, then your opponent's going to be crippled too.
Right. But the thing is, Mono Red isn't as crippled. If
no, right.
With
Lightning Bolt is Lightning Bolt.
Cards. Yeah, Lightning Bolt's Lightning Bolt, exactly. And there are a lot of Lightning Bolt that you can run. The issue that it has is that it's very susceptible to sideboard hate.
Yes.
Because all white decks can run Circle of Protection Red.
Yes.
Every deck, everywhere, because this is Pauper, can afford to run some incidental life gain. And it's going to end up working out all right.
That might be the other thing he's missing from his sideboard is Flaring Pain. That's a big one.
He was looking for those. He might have those.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know. Okay,
at least not on his sideboard. Not on his list.
Okay, I gotcha.
Although to be fair, he's pretty lucky matching him against Troy, who doesn't have any circle protections.
Yeah.